All right. Oh my god, I'm gonna be so tired today, man. I'm so tired. I don't know if I should take a nap before work. It's like I haven't done anything today. Um, I don't know. We'll see. I do not burden God with my petty cares. Details don't concern me. I gaze only upon my love and keep its virginal flame pure and clear. Faith is conceived that, convinced that God troubles himself about the smallest thing. In this life, I am content to be wedded to the left hand. Faith is humble enough to demand the right, and that it is indeed humility I don't and shall never deny. But I wonder whether all my contemporaries really are capable of making the movement of faith. Unless I am much mistaken, they are more inclined to pride themselves for doing what they don't even think capable of the imperfect. It is against my nature to do what people so often do, talk inhumanely about the great as though some thousands of years were a huge distance. I prefer to talk about it humanely, as though it had happened yesterday, and let only the greatness itself be the distance that either exalts or condemns. If in the guise of tragic hero, the guise. for for higher than I cannot come. I were summoned to such an extraordinary royal progress as that to the mountain of Moriah. I know very well what I would have done. I would have not been, I would not, my God, I would not have been coward enough to stay at home, nor would I have rested on the way, or dawdled, or forgotten the knife to create some delay. I am fairly certain I would have been there on the dot with everything arranged. I might have even come early instead, so as to have done it with to have done with it quickly, more quickly. But I also know what else I would have done. The moment I mounted the horse, I would have said to myself that everything is lost. God demands Isaac. I sacrifice him, and with all my joy. Yet God is love, and for me continues to be so. For in the temporal world, God and I cannot talk together. We have no common language. Perhaps someone or other other in our time would be foolish enough, envious enough of the great to suppose and have me suppose that had I actually done this, I would have done something even greater than Abraham. For wouldn't my immense resignation be far more idealistic and poetic than Abraham's narrow-mindedness? And yet this is the greatest falsehood. For my immense resignation would be a substitute for faith. Nor could I have made more than the infinite movement in the order to find myself again, and rest once more in myself. Neither would I have loved Isaac as Abraham did. The fact that I had the fact that I made the movement resolutely might demonstrate my courage. Humanly speaking, that I loved him with all my soul is a precondition without which the whole affair becomes an act of wickedness. And yet I would not have loved as Abraham loved, for then I would have held back at the very last minute. Though without this meaning that I'd arrive late at the top of the mountain in Moriah. Furthermore, my behavior would have uh, vitiated the whole story, for I would have been at loss had I got Isaac back then. What Abraham found the easiest of all would for me be hard to find joy again in Isaac, for he who with all the infinity of his soul, on his own accord and on his own responsibility has made the infinite movement and can do no more. That person only keeps Isaac with pain. But what did Abraham do? He came neither too early nor too late. He mounted the ass. He rode slowly down the path. All along, he had faith. He believed that God would not demand Isaac of him, while he still was willing to offer him, if that was indeed what was demanded. He believed on the strength of the absurd, for there could be no question of human calculation, and it was indeed absurd that God, who demanded this of him, should in the next instant withdraw the demand. He climbed the mountain, even in that moment. when the knife gleamed, he believed that God would not demand Isaac. Certainly, he was surprised by the outcome, but by means of double movement, he had come back to his original position and therefore received Isaac more joyfully than the first time. Let us go further. We let Isaac actually be sacrificed. Abraham had faith. His faith was not that he should be happy sometime in the hereafter, but that he should find blessed happiness here in this world. God could give him a new Isaac, bring the sacrificial offer back to life. He believed on the strength of the absurd, for all human calculation had long since been suspended. That sorrow can make one demented. What? That sorrow can make one demented may be granted, and is hard enough. That there is a strength of will that holds close enough to the wind. Um, to save the understanding, even if the strain turns one slightly odd, that too may be grounded. I don't mean to decry that, but to be able to lose one's understanding and with it the whole um, of the finite world whose stockbroker it is, and then on the strength of the absurd, you get exactly the same finitude back then. That leaves me aghast, but I don't say on the account that of this little worth. On the contrary, it is the one and only marvel. It is commonly supposed that what faith produces is no work of art, but a crude and vulgar effort only for clumsier natures. Yet the truth is quite otherwise. The dialectic of faith is the most refined and most remarkable of all dialectics. It has an evolution or an elevation. Yeah, elevation that I can form a conception of, but no more. I can make the great trampoline leap in which I pass over into infinitude. My back is like the tightrope walkers twisted in my childhood, and so it is easy for me. One, two, three, I can go upside down in existence, but the next is beyond me, for the marvel I cannot perform, but only be amazed at. Yes, if only Abraham, the instant he swung his leg over the ass's back, had said to himself, now Isaac is lost, I could just as well sacrifice him here at home as the journey to the long road, as the journey to Moriah is a long road. Then I wouldn't need Abraham. Then I wouldn't need Abraham, whereas now I bow to his name 7 times and to his deeds, yeah, whatever. For that is not what he did, as I can prove by the fact that he received Isaac back with joy, really heartfelt joy, that he needed no preparation, no time to adjust himself to the finitude and its joy. Had it not been thus with Abraham, he may well have loved God, but he would not have had faith. For he who loves God without faith reflects on himself, while the person who loves God in faith reflects on God. Mm. At this extremity stands Abraham. The last stage he loses sight of is infinite resignation. He really does go further and comes to faith. For all these caricatures, yeah, churs, no, trues, carcatures of faith. The pitiable, lukewarm apathy that, oh, lukewarm is such a good word. Oh my God. Wow. Lukewarm apathy that thinks there is surely no need. It's not worth worrying before the time. The miserable hope that says, who knows what may happen? It's possible, certainly. These distortions belong to life's wretchedness, and these infinite resignation has already infinitely scorned. Abraham I cannot understand. In a way, all I can learn from him is to be amazed. If one imagines, one can be moved to faith by considering the outcome of this story. One deceives oneself and is out to cheat God of faith's first movement. One is out to suck the life wisdom out of the paradox. One or another succeed, for our age does not stop with faith. With its miracle of turning water into wine, it goes further, it turns wine into water. I'm so sleepy, bro. I'm so freaking sleepy. My eye is sleepy, bruh. Shoot, it's gonna be a long shift. Would it not be best all the same to stop with faith? And is it not disturbing that everyone wants to go further when people nowadays, as in fact variously announced, will not stop with love? Where is it they are going? The worldly wisdom, petty calculations, and the paltriness and misery to all that can put man's divine origin into doubt. Would it not be better to remain standing at faith and for the one who stands there to take care not to fall? For the movement of faith must be made continually on the strength of the absurd, though in such a way, uh, be it noted, that one does not lose finitude, but gains it all of a piece. But gains it all of a piece. I, for my part, can indeed describe the movements of faith, but I cannot perform them. When learning how to make swimming movements and one can hang in a belt from the ceiling, one may be said to describe the movements all right, but one isn't swimming. Likewise, I can describe the movements of faith, but when I am thrown into the water, although I may um, be said to be swimming, I make other movements. I make the movements, oh my God, of infinity. It makes those movements while faith does the opposite. Having performed the movements of infinity, it makes those of finitude. Lucky the one who can make those movements. He performs a marvel, and I shall never tire of admiring him. Whether it is Abraham or the servant in Abraham's house, whether a professor of philosophy or a poor serving maid, is for me absolutely immaterial. I look only at the movements, but those I do indeed look at and let myself be fooled, neither by myself nor by anyone else. The nights of infinite resignation are readily recognizable. Their gait is gliding bold, but those who wear the jewel of faith can easily disappoint, for those exterior bears, for their exterior bears a remarkable similarity to what infinite resignation itself, as much as faith scorns, namely, the bourgeoisie philistine. In my own experience, I frankly admit to having found no reliable examples, though I would not deny on the ground that possibly every other person is one. Still, I have tried, now in vain, for several years to track one down. People commonly travel the world to see rivers, mountains, and new stars. Garish birds, freak fish, grotesque breeds of human, they fall into the animal stupor that grapes at existence, and they think they have seen something. Dude, I'm honestly gonna stop there. My eyes are like really tired. Yeah, maybe we'll pick this back up tonight. Yeah, maybe we'll, when I get home from work, we'll read a little more. I think I should. Okay, bye.